Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of What Ted Says, where it's always time to get a fatter wallet and a bigger net worth. Of course, that's what we're doing here. And a lot of parents that have talked to me over the years ask, should I use a 529 plan to fund my child's education? And a lot of people wonder whether or not a college education is even worth it anymore. Of course it is for most people. But if you know that the route of saving for your kid's college education, the main question a lot of people are going to ask is, should you use a 529, an UTMA, savings bonds, or some other kind of vehicle? But by far, a 529 is my favorite overall college education savings vehicle. So just how do these things work? Let's start with the basics here in terms of 529 plan tax benefits. So a 529 in all intents and purposes works a lot like a Roth 401k or a Roth IRA by investing after-tax contributions in things like mutual funds, exchange-traded funds, and other similar investments. And your investments will grow on a tax-deferred basis, and then they can be withdrawn tax-free if the money is used to pay for what's noted to be as qualified higher education expenses. Remember that contributions are not tax deductible from your federal income taxes. However, you may also qualify for a state tax benefit depending upon where you live. Right now, in all the 529 plans, more than 30 states offer some kind of tax deductions and state tax credits for 529 plan contributions. Some people will use 529 plans as an estate planning vehicle, believe it or not, because contributions are considered to be completed gifts to the beneficiary. As it stands today here in 2021, up to $15,000 per donor per beneficiary qualifies for the annual gift tax exclusion. This can always change in the future. People will also want to know in general, how much can I contribute to a 529? Well, look, there are no annual 529 plan contribution limits, but there are some important things to consider when it comes to making a large 529 contribution. For example, contributions in excess of the gift tax annual exclusion that I just mentioned, is $15,000 in 2021, will count against your lifetime estate and gift tax exemption. That's a big number. It's $11.7 million in 2021, and each state also has an aggregate contribution limit for 529 plans, which can range from $235,000 to $529,000. And this amount is really based upon the price of attending either an expensive college and graduate school program, including textbooks and room and board. That's the general rule of thumb. But you can aim, I would say, if you're thinking about what to save, roughly a third of your projected future college costs. Some of you will want to save the full boat, and some of you will just want to give a head start. But it's assuming that you can cover the remaining 2/3 with the current income that you earn, or scholarship funds, or other student loans that your child is going to get. But you really have to decide, do I want to pay for it all? Do I want to pay for a third? Or I want to give a head start? That's an important goal when you're figuring out how much you should save. Now, when money comes out, the big question I often get is, what are qualified education expenses? Let's remember this: only qualified withdrawals are tax-free. This means that you should use only your 529 plan to pay for qualified educational expenses. What can qualified expenses for college include? Tuition and fees, books and materials, room and board, at least for students enrolled half-time, computers, remember that's an important one, and related equipment. Figure out what that means. Internet access, and special needs for equipment students attending a college or university or other eligible post-secondary educational institutions. The good news is, in recent years, the IRS expanded the definition of qualified education expenses to now include K through 12 tuition expenses and also post-graduation student loan repayments. So there's a $10,000 annual limit on qualified K through 12 withdrawals and a $10,000 lifetime limit on student loan repayments. Now, how do you choose a 529 plan? How do you know it's the right one for you if there's 50 states? So nearly every state right now has at least one 529 plan available, but you're not limited to using your home state's plan. That's important. You don't have to use the one in the state that you live in, because each 529 plan offers investment portfolios either tailored to the account owner's risk tolerance and their time horizon, or they have one that's sort of a set it and forget it model. Remember, your account value, it can go up and it can go down based upon the performance of the underlying investment options, because this is not a prepaid tuition plan like you have like in states in Florida. It's important to consider your investment objectives, compare your options, and think about what you need to save before you invest. And at the end of it, people want to know, well, what happens to my money, Ted, if it isn't used in a 529 plan? Look, if you have leftover money in your 529 plan and you want to avoid paying taxes and a penalty on earnings, you've got a few options on what you can do. First and foremost, you can change the beneficiary to another qualifying family member. This could be a brother or a sister or another relative. You can hold the funds in the account in case the beneficiary wants to attend graduate school or get an advanced degree. A lot of people don't know this, but you can even make yourself the beneficiary. What if you were going to go back to school for executive education and further your own education? You could do that as well. So, now that you've learned the basic value of having a 529 plan, I use them for all of my kids, you may want to think about how you can end up getting more dollars in your pocket from tax savings to put away more money for college. So check out my tips right here on the What Ted Says channel on how to read a tax return. This can really help you get more dollars in your pocket to pay for that college education. Share this video with any family member that's got young kids and thinking about saving for their college education. And as always, thanks for watching this channel. I so enjoy helping you. Keep on watching What Ted Says. Keep sharing this with your friends. Leave me comments of things that you like on here, and I look forward to talking to more on videos in the future.